while you're getting ready, let me just give you some background of June. I know June personally as well. So June Sun is a strategic marketing professional turned business owner with an extensive experience in Australia and Asian markets, and now running 2 MINDCHAMPS franchisees in Singapore. Now, prior to this, she has worked at Mars, Australia and Singapore. And I know Mars runs a very extensive assessment center. All right, just a little bit of info there. Mars, right, she worked at Mars, Australia and Singapore, General Mills Singapore, where she transitioned from marketing to consumer insights to head of trade marketing for the region. Now, June is passionate and resourceful, and she likes to share her expertise and knowledge to enhance the skills and mindsets of our future generation, which is why she's a returning Singaporean, and she's contributing a lot into for our economy as well. So today, what is June gonna share with us today is this: how can you use the P's, the 4 P's, to influence the decision maker? All right, June, I hope you're ready to take it away. I'm gonna stop share here and pass it to you. Oh, wow, you are ready. Yes.
I'm ready.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for the lovely introduction, and thank you, WSG, for inviting me to share my part of my career and my career change perspective, and also Elaine for co-hosting as well. So, how to influence the decision maker? Okay, so since I'm the decision maker, I can tell you I've hired for the corporate world, from country managers to marketing heads to sales heads, and now to hiring for our preschools. So what I'm really looking for. So a little introduction about myself, right? I'm Chinese Singaporean. My family and I migrated to Australia in 1989, hence this funny accent you might think of. But my husband and I moved back to Singapore about 8 years ago. So pretty much you will consider me that I've done my primary, my secondary, and my university years in Australia. So almost what we call ourselves a banana, per se, because very, very, very Caucasian, but also looks Asian as well. So I don't need to talk about my degrees or my honors, but what I really want to share with you is, I'm an accomplished musician, I'm a master chef wannabe, and I'm a mother too, and now I'm a business owner as well, or director. So these are the things that you start to share at your interview that kind of hooks your audience or hooks your employer. Okay, so I might just give you a poll question, which you can elaborate, and then we can go further into my presentation. Elaine, can we, the poll question? Okay. What do you feel is your biggest weakness during your interviews? Is it A, your knowledge base for the role, B, cultural fit, C, lack of experience, D, being overqualified, or E, not sure?
You're getting the responses even before you finish explaining the options.
Oh, great. I can see the numbers telling. Wow.
Yep. So we've got a good 60%.
They're very close, actually.
Very, very, whoa. Tough choice. We've got like 70% have voted, and we're talking about like how many of you? 90 of you, yeah, out of the 120 something on the call. Any more votes coming in?
No, not.
Yeah, it's tough, biggest weakness. Okay, we've got a small proportion that says not sure as well. I think we can close the poll.
Sure.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to close the poll. I mean, there's a good 95 of you already responded.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to close and share the results. So here you go. It should be on screen.
Wow. So if you look at your answers, right? So most of you, a quarter of you, 1 in 4 thinks that you're overqualified, and then the second rated is lack of experience, right? And then knowledge for the role as well. So whether you think you have the right skill sets or not, might not have the right skill sets as well. So let's see how we go from your interviews. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. How does an interview usually start? We walk in to the room, we do a handshake, we have a slight bow, or now online, we do a little hand wave, okay? So, or sometimes because of COVID, we can't do the handshake, we either fist punch or bow shake as well, okay? And then we politely, the employer might say, how are you today? Or if you're the employee, you might initiate and say, how are you? Thanks for taking the time to meet me as well. So what I really like about an interviewee is that they initiate their responses first, okay? I'm looking forward to learning more of the role, okay? My name is so-and-so, and it's nice to meet you, or it's lovely to be here today, okay? So this is what you start the interview with, a positive attitude and positive response to your employer. How do you engage your audience? Okay, so even in my preschool industry now, how do we engage our littlest children, right? How do we hold their attention for 15 minutes? We can use different props, we can use different voices, soft, loud, or any time of body gestures as well, just like our faces, which tells a lot of your story as well. Okay, and obviously you can see that we can use different manipulatives as well. Manipulatives means like cups or even balls or anything that can tell a story. Okay, first impression matter? Yeah, it does. You know, the fact that, you know, you smile to your employer, your body gesture, okay, your dress code, you dressed for the presentation or you dressed for the interview, really do matter as well. I've had now, because of COVID, I've had a lot of online Zoom interviews. I've often seen candidates who rock up or have their online interviews in the scheme of their bedroom. That's fine, but sometimes just be mindful that have a even just a virtual background, so it doesn't show how messy your room is, or where you are at being present as well. And also, I know it's being in the comfort of your own room, but also just dress up a little neat or tidy as well, instead of being a slack or being a baggy t-shirt that looks like you've just come out of the bed as well. Okay, and also personal hygiene. I know it probably doesn't affect as much over online interviews, but you know, as you grow to more face-to-face interviews, personal hygiene is also a big one for me as an employer, because sometimes I've had a case of an employee who came to interview with me. I guess that she over-prepared or overindulged in her scent a little bit, that literally blew my socks away. So sometimes, you know, when we as an employer looked as an overall package, we do look at the first impression as well. Okay, normally then you sit down for an interview, and we normally like to go through the icebreaker questions. So, you know, I've given you a few examples of the icebreaker question. So tell me about yourself, okay? What made you apply for this role? How are you today? Okay, so tell me about yourself. This technically is not really a question. It's more of an open line to your interview, okay? This translates to, what's your story? And this kind of your answer as a person can set off the tone for the rest of the interview. So for example, when I told you about my personal kind of background, you will think, oh, this person's interesting. So she has grew up in Australia, did her work experience, work career, started her career off in Australia, and where did it take her? So these are the questions that puts into your employer's mind of what kind of expertise or experiences and what can she bring to the table as well. So which makes me go to the next question. What made you apply for this role? So create an outline for your present, your past, and your future. So one of the very good examples that one of my teachers or my current vice principal has shared with me, or when she interviewed with me, is, where are you right now? So I'm currently a preschool teacher for so-and-so school. I was previously an infant nurse and I had a passion to take care of infants. Hence, I did a further course or diploma in early childhood. Hence, now I'm a teacher for 5 years and I'm looking for my next role as a lead teacher or a vice principal. So this really sets out the tone of who you are, what you have done, and where you want to go. So these are the technical questions that I see that you're ambitious enough, that you're driven enough of where you want to go. Okay. And then the other icebreaker question could be, how are you today? Very simple. Always answer with positivity. I'm great. I'm really pleased that you took the time to meet me here. Again, very polite. Happy to be here. I've heard a lot of great things about a company and I can't wait to hear about more. Okay. And, and I hope I can be a part of your great company. These are the 4 P's to use in the next. It's not the usual P's that Elaine has shared with you or Mandeep has shared with you, but there were one commonality involved. Okay, so what are the 4 P's I'm looking for? The presentation, the passion, the punctuality, and practice. Okay, presentation, dress code, personal hygiene, which I've talked about, eye contact, posture, props, and even voice. The passion, okay, the energy level, the excitement for the role, okay, and the smiles. Punctuality. I actually like candidates who are early or who are prepared with their certs and docs and references as well, okay. Practice. When you do give your interview, make sure when you know that you kind of might stutter or when you're nervous, pace yourself, slow down, okay? When you do give your answers, make sure it's concise and to the point, okay? So I've showed you some photos. So for example, when you do your interview, you can always, so for example, whether you've gone for a marketing role, you can always take in some of the trade marketing examples that you've made in your previous role that you're very proud of and show the interviewer. Or if you're interviewing for a preschool, a teacher's role, hey, these are the manipulatives I love to use on my children. And these are the kind of engagements I've got. Okay. And again, I love to see your type of energy, right? So imagine young children. They have ample of energy. And for you to demonstrate these kind of energy level as same as their young children, you're pretty much hired already because I know you can keep it up with them. Four P's not to use in your next interview. This is very good. So I guess when interviewers do ask you a question, don't be pointless, okay? Don't be a prima donna. Don't procrastinate. And don't be pitful as well. Okay, so don't be pointless. So when I ask a question, how do you resolve a crying child? Use a STAR answer, which is situation, task, action, and result. So for example, one of my teachers at my interview shared with me that once she had a crying nursery 1 child, okay, she burst out in tears and no one knew why. So she approached her child to find out what happened. After a little probing, she found out the child had lost her favorite ball under the sofa. So instead of the teacher actually going under the sofa and reaching it out to grab the ball, she took the child to the art and craft trolley. She asked her to pick up the tool or something that she could use to get the ball. So the child then took a long paintbrush and walked back to the sofa with the teacher and then scooped, like literally scooped the ball out of the sofa using a paintbrush. Hence, this actually type of questions not only gave me the situation, gave me the task, gave me the action, and gave me the result. It actually showed me the teacher had taken initiative or was thinking outside the box to resolve the situation or resolve the problem itself. So this is actually a very good answer to use for your future employer. So think of a challenge or think of a problem of how you resolved it and how you actually took your initiative, use the outside of the box to resolve the question. Okay, prima donna. Or I guess I'm sure my other counterparts will say the same. We've had our fair shares of our interviews, and some interviewees feels like the attitude or there's no one else better than them. So my feedback to you, and my feedback is for your next interview, please just be genuine. Just don't try to be someone else that you're not to, and don't feel like you're actually better than anyone else as well. Because I can tell you that, you know, even though you think you might be qualified for the role, but please don't show that, oh, I can do this, I can do this, because the person who's interviewing you can also be better at you as well. Okay. Procrastinate. So when I do ask behavior questions, I know it's a little bit harder. Be prepared to have a set of pre-planned answers or examples rather than and ahhing. And once you started, give us 10 to 15 seconds of break and not having an answer prepared. I'm already kind of thinking, not prepared. This person's probably not the right for the role, etc., etc. Because if you know you're coming for an interview, you make sure you have your background checks, your questions, your star answers prepared, and have a list of things that you'll be able to share as well. Okay. Pitiful. Not so. Sometimes I've have interviewed managers or even senior managers about a challenging time that you might have, and also when they explain the situation, they kind of say, oh no, it's not my fault, it's someone else's fault, but I have learned this. What someone I'm looking for to head up or to be in leadership role is someone who can engage the team, okay, emphasize and use the team to kind of collective work together, rather than if something goes wrong, it's actually that teammate's fault. It's not my fault as well. So actually don't use the blame game, because that actually do put employers off as a tactic. Okay, so again, don't be a prima donna, don't be pointless, don't procrastinate, and don't be pitiful as well. Okay. Okay, I've got another poll question for you guys. What do you think is the biggest challenge in gaining your ideal employment in the next 3 months? Okay, answer. A, increase competition. B, decrease the number of permanent roles available. C, roles that can match the right pay scale. Or D, not sure.
Quick fingers again.
Yeah, very quick.
You've got, I mean, as soon as you finish, you've got like 50 people already voted. Right? So, yeah, put in your choices. So what is it going to be?
I think majority is A, increased competition.
Seems to be.
Yeah. Hey guys, look, the competitions is always going to be there as well. So for me, when I go for any bids or any positions, the competition's always going to be there. It's how you rise above the competition to really win the role as well. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna share the results because we've got a good 99.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So there you go.
Yeah. Like I said, so don't fear. You know, the competition is always going to be there. It's not like, you know, you're any far less better off than the other person or the other candidate. Just give your best to each interview and you know, the employer will see what you have to offer as well. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you also have the next category, which is decreased number of
permanent. Well, hey, I do have a slide on that later, so we can we can we can talk about it as well. Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Is it? Can I go back sharing? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Common mistakes that you're unaware of during the interview. Okay, so unprepared interviewees. So what I like to see is, you know, the interviewee comes in and having practice and practice. The goal is not to memorize any script, but rather to familiarize yourself with your own experience and your own achievements, but also remember to be precise and to the point as well. Okay, so this is quite important. Don't be afraid to ask a question. So this also challenges me as an employer or as a hiring manager back that, hey, this person actually can think for themselves. Okay, this is also an opportunity to show your interest and how to determine whether the company is a good fit for you as well, whether the culture fit, or whether, you know, you can ask what is your leadership, what is your type of leadership style. Okay, or, you know, with my skill set, like as in when you said your pay scale, with my skill set, what will be my salary range be as well. So during your interview, you can always propose what your salary range should be and see what your expectation is. What is your minimum? What is your maximum as well? Okay, and then also, like I said before, how do you manage your teachers? So for example, what is your leadership style? Okay, how do you lead your team of principals? How do you lead your team of teachers? How do you mentor them? So what is your you know, open sharing? What is your how do you engage and career progress for your teachers as well? So I see that not just during my MNC roles, but even in our education sector now, with a lot of young millennial come through, that they also ask this question, you know, how do you mentor your teachers? What is my next career progression, right? Because teachers come out, they probably want to be teachers. Teachers nowadays are not like teachers 20 years ago, where they'd be teachers for the rest of their career, but they are actually wanting to step up. There's a lot of teachers now, they want to take up the leadership roles. They want to be the next vice principal. They want to be the next P or the next curriculum writer. Things like this, which actually I look for and I identify in my next candidates. So whether they have an aspiration or they don't as well. So where do you see yourself in 5 years, or where do you see yourself in the next 3 years as well? Okay. Body posture and features. Okay, I know sometimes when face to face you have the nerves, you might be shaking, and there's actually even one Zoom interview I've done where I've seen someone who slouched like this. So just make sure you check your body posture for your next Zoom interview, or even your face to face interview, whether you have the triangular pose or your portrait face. Yes, correct. And please, eye contact as well. So I know that it is harder to engage over the online, over the tablet or over the internet. It's harder to see whether the person's eye contacting you, but make sure you give your own dedication and your time as well, because we are taking the time to interview you. You are also show us the respect to give it all as well. And sometimes, you know, it's quite funny. I also put common mistakes, blackface. So it's very common in Singapore that, you know, sometimes it's just maybe that's your resting face. But please, I ask of you, if you go in for your next interview, whether it's Zoom, just put on a smile and show a bit of energy to your respective employers. And I think that will go a long way as well. Because I can tell you, sometimes I've seen a lot of candidates that they've just come on, but they don't realize they've got that face. Just slouch face, and it's kind of a turn off for us as well. So I urge you, so maybe check. I know that the mobile phones that you can actually mirror yourself and mirror your own face. Have a look, or see whether it's actually representable as well. Okay. Okay, key tips for today's COVID job seekers as well. Okay, so yes, I think you did say, you know, there's not enough jobs out, or there's not enough permanent roles, but actually SG United and the government are doing a lot for business owners and even big companies to hire Singaporeans. Okay, when you're at the job interview, don't be afraid. If you don't think you've got enough experience, or if you think you're too overqualified, ask them. Ask the employer, is there a SG United jobs on offer? Is that something that you can consider me for? Okay, or is it something suitable for me? Right? So because we can always tap on these kind of government support to give you the next break or to give you the next opportunity to learn as well. Okay, and also another key tip for today's COVID job seekers. Also, I've had even job interviews via WhatsApp, and I've had a couple of teachers, I mean, maybe they're not the most tech savvy, but I have had that, please, if you're going to do an online Zoom interview or a WhatsApp interview, please sit still, please put your phone on a steady position and don't keep shaking, because I can tell you, even though how good the candidate is, how experienced she is, because she was holding the phone was shifting left, right, and center. I got dizzy after 5 minutes. So, and it was a bit of a put off for employer or hiring manager to see that as well. So sit your laptop down, sit your phone down on a table. Don't walk around, you know, shoulder to full head frame. You know, check bio screen, make sure your earphones and mics are working, so you don't need to wait for you for 5 to 10 minutes while you set all these up. Okay, interviewing from home, still dress for the job, speak clearly and accurately. Okay, and again, energy radiant, smile. So like the children does, perfect. I'm going to leave this with you. Okay, so this is one of the best quotes I thought of today. Nothing is impossible. It's the word itself and how you say it. Actually, I am possible. Okay, so this is also a great P to finish off with, because it also starts with a P. So I am possible. Okay, it's not impossible. So just look at, everything comes with perseverance, everything comes with time, and everything comes with passion as well. So I hope I leave with you guys. It's what we teach our children for the future of tomorrow is a champion mindset. And I hope that interviews after interviews, you guys still would persevere, and everything, and I am possible as well. Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you. Thanks for the reminder. You know, I was just keeping tabs of how many P's you have mentioned. So you've got your 4 to-do P's, and then you have another 4 not to-do P's.
Yes.
Then you finish off with another 6.
There's a lot of P's.
Was practice. And then you said come prepared, posture, yeah, and also your portrait face, right? Keep your phone steady. I can't agree more, because I got dizzy as well, especially when the phone starts moving, and then everything is possible. Unpossible. Yay. Thank you so much. There is actually a question on Menti asking if anyone, would you prioritize experience over everything, over attitude? You know, in your case, would you?
No.
I know Mandy's answer. He is really.
No.
Never. I'll never do that.
Never.
No.
That's why I say I know Mandy's answer. Sorry, June.
So I do actually, over anything, again, attitude and positive mindset, okay? And then the willingness to learn, because I feel like skill sets, so expertise or technical skill sets are teachable, okay? It's how your willingness to learn and to adapt is something that we cherish a lot.
So we're going to encourage everyone on the call, you know, if you've got an interest in education sector, please reach out.
Yes, actually, I have actually hired quite a few of my teachers for my Raffles Town Club. So they actually have different bachelors. So one is a teacher with me who started this year in January. She actually has a bachelor in engineering. So she was actually a engineer for 5 years. Okay. And yes. And then she's also a trained musician. So she's got a grade 8 piano or grade 7 piano, that she still had a passion for piano. So after she finished her engineering, that she's moved on to kind of a very niche kind of market, which just tuning the pianos. And then after a few years, she kind of thought, I can do a little bit more. So I've actually hired her as of our enrichment musical teacher as well. So don't be afraid that, you know, just because your bachelor is in engineering, you can't be a teacher as well. Another teacher of mine, she's got a business administration as well. So she joined us about 2.5 years ago, and now she's one of our K2 teachers who's preparing the children for primary school. So don't be afraid of you know, what background you have, because if we think you're the right candidate, we'll be able to train you as well.
Okay, there's just one more quick one, because
Okay.
you are encouraging the crowd, you know, with
Okay.
such confidence, right? Don't be afraid. And so someone was asking about age. Would you hire somebody who is, you know, mature workforce?
Yes, of course. I have mature workforce this year. I have who's a N1 teacher, a nursery teacher who's 50 plus. I have Chinese teachers who's 40 plus. So yes, of course, I've had my first admin, although I wanted to increase her hours, but she didn't want to increase her hours. So, so yes. So she was 60 plus, I think, as well. So she was, so she co-shared the work with my current admin. So definitely there's a much mature. I give everyone a fair share chance as well.
Very nice. I think everybody will be so encouraged hearing from you. So thank you so much.